Science with Sharon, Christmas edition. Today's science is called Christmas Chemistry. Can you believe it's nearly Christmas already? Man, this year has really flown by. So thanks for gracing me with your presents, get it? And let's get into today's experiment. Remember kids, just 3 weeks to school holidays. How exciting. All right, so today, hopefully most of the things you will have at home, but you might need to go to the shops and get one of the ingredients. You need a glass big enough for the ornament you're going to make, a peg that will sit on top of the glass without falling in. You need some furry pipe cleaners, so you can get those from craft shops if you don't have any, big-ish ones, a spoon, which you'll have, and, sorry, my antlers, and some borax. So you might not have this at home. Borax is found in the cleaning aisle of your supermarket, and it costs about $4 for this tub at Coles. Product placement. Okay, and then you just need something to tie your ornament up with. Can be anything. I'm using this thin tinsel, but it can be any sort of string, nylon thread, whatever. Okay, so today's experiment is making a special ornament, and I don't want to give too much away because there's a bit of a surprise element in it. All right, so to start off, you need to make your ornament with the pipe cleaner. So you can make a star, Christmas tree, whatever. You're probably going to be better at this than me. Oh, I wasn't going to do the purple. I'm going to do the red. Okay, Christmas. But it can be any color. So a good way to try and make the Christmas tree is just to halve it, find the midpoint, and you might want some help from parents is fine, but have a go yourself. It's always fun to try things yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then you're just sort of making it into the shape you want, whether it's a Christmas tree. You might want to try an angel or anything Christmassy, really. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, so then you've pressed it into the shape that you want. Then grab some thread, or I've got tinsel, whatever you want. You're going to use as your hanging string from the Christmas tree. Okay, now what you want to do is check that when you put it in, it's going to hang and not touch the sides of the glass. That way you know your glass is big enough. Then just pop a knot in your string. Okay, so you've tied a knot in your string. Then you're going to place it through the peg and then hang. So that's perfect, okay? You want it so it's not touching any of the sides of the glass. All right, before we do the next part, there's a few really important safety bits with this experiment, safety tips. Okay, so borax is a cleaning agent. So whilst it's relatively safe for kids to use if they use it sensibly, you need to be really careful in terms of it's not edible, so you get very sick if you get some in your mouth, and it can irritate your eyes. So if you use it and rub your eyes, it can be an irritant. And for people with really sensitive skin, it can be a bit burny on the skin. So wear gloves if you have sensitive skin, and just be really careful, and also wash your hands after you've done the experiment. The other safety tip with this is we're now boiling the kettle because we're going to add some boiling water. And kids, you need to be really careful here. Have an adult, because once you put the boiling water in a glass, the glass gets very, very hot. So it's really important that you don't touch the sides of the glass once the boiling water's in there. All right, so now we're ready to add our boiling water to the glass. Like I said, get parent help and be careful. So just carefully pour the boiling water in. Not all the way to the top, but a fair way. So then, all we're doing is spooning the borax in carefully and stirring it in. Okay, so this takes quite a bit of borax. What we're aiming for here is that when you stop stirring, some of it will start to settle to the bottom. Okay, if it's still dissolved, we need to put more in. But anyway, you can tell by looking down the glass anyway. Okay, I'm going to try that many, see how it works. So just leave it for a few seconds If you look towards the bottom, there's a little bit in there, but not much. So I think maybe one more. Okay, that should do it. So it should be quite cloudy. You can sort of see some of the little particles at this point. So that's what we call a saturated solution. If we keep putting more in, eventually, you're going to see a lot more of the powder in there. Okay, I think that looks good. All right, so then the next step is just to simply carefully put it in. It's that simple. Okay, like I said, make sure the tree is not touching any of the edges of the glass so you can reposition. And then you just need to leave it to cool down for a while. Okay, and then you can move the glass to somewhere safe. So you can leave this overnight for one night, maybe 2 nights, up to you. Now, and then keep checking on it, keep seeing what's happening. If you don't want to know what happens and you want the surprise, then stop the video now, wait a couple of nights, see what happens, and then keep watching for the science and the rest of the explanation. And also tune back in because I have another experiment for the parents at the end. However, if you want to see what happens straight away, you can't wait, keep watching now. Alrighty, fast forward a couple of nights' time, and this is what you should end up pulling out of your glass. A ornament or tree or whatever you've made with crystals on it. Might be a bit hard to see. There you go, well, let's put it in the light. So you can see this one's got lots of little fine crystals on it, whereas this one is a lot more obvious. So I think I'll put more borax in this one, and has bigger, thicker crystals. So even though it's the same experiment, you can see crystals form quite uniquely, and they look beautiful either way. Okay, so the science is pretty simple. So how it works is borax, the powder, is a naturally occurring substance. If you mix a little bit of the borax with the water, it will become suspended. So we couldn't see the powder anymore. It dissolves into the water, which means the water molecules can hold onto it for a while before they eventually settle to the bottom of the jar. So what happens is if we heat up the water, however, the water molecules move further apart, which means that they can hold a lot more of the borax, extra borax, to be suspended. Then what happens as the water cools down, the molecules come closer together again and they can't hold on to that borax anymore. So this is called supersaturation. And the extra borax separates back out of the water molecule and sticks to the pipe cleaners, forming these lovely crystals that you see here, beautiful crystals. All right, so what this experiment kind of reminds me of was when baby Jesus was born into the world. It was really an unexpected surprise to everyone. The rulers and the religious leaders at the time were expecting a strong and powerful leader, not this tiny, fragile baby. A bit like how these crystals form overnight, really. It's really unexpected, and they're quite fragile, unique, and beautiful. I think God likes to do that, create amazing and wonderful experiences from things and people we least expect it from. Maybe you can think of an example and thank God for that person or that event as you're looking at your ornament hanging on your Christmas tree. Okay, my final experiment for this year is one for the parents as well as the kids. I love Christmas so much, ask my family, I really get into it. We put up the lights, we put up the tree. And I love putting up the Christmas tree. You can see I've started to do it. The one thing I don't love about it is the mess it creates on the floor from the tinsel and all the bits of plastic that fall off my tree. So here is an environmentally non-motorized way of picking up that tinsel off the floor that you can get your kids to do, parents, and have a lot of fun with, and there's science involved. All right, all you need is a balloon and a big tub to collect the tinsel into. All right, so get your kids to rub the balloon on their hair. We all love doing that. The hair sticks up, etc. Or on their clothes, doesn't matter. And then what you're going to do is say, hey, okay, let's get this tinsel off the floor, kids. See how it's attracted to the balloon? And then you can just wipe it off. It's the instant cleanup without a vacuum, and it's science. So what's happening? We're creating static electricity charge by rubbing the balloon on our hair or top or whatever, and that creates a negative charge on the balloon. The tinsel on the floor has a positive charge or a neutral charge though. So when the balloon gets near it, it will pick it up and collect it. Because just like magnets, opposites attract, negative and positive charge. Okay, so it picks it up really well, you can see. Unfortunately, it doesn't pick up the plastic bits of tree as well, which would be a bonus. Okay, so Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed Science with Sharon this year. I've enjoyed making them, and we'll see you in 2021, perhaps even live. So, ho, ho, ho!